Well, good evening to you. How y'all doing? I wonder if y'all doing like me. You notice how I dress up this evening because there's this 5 o'clock announcement to the nation, addressing the nation and so on. But hey, look, I look like I didn't able, like I really didn't able. But let me say to you, welcome to another episode of Advancing the Cause. We're always here to comfort you and to bring you the facts. We don't fluff up this thing. We don't offer you promises that are comforts to a fool. We offer you the real facts. So, again, welcome to Advancing the Cause. And it's always good to have you on there. Yes, I see my friends there from Switzerland, those from Barbados. Hey, big up to you all from Barbados. I'm seeing my friends there from Trinidad. I'm seeing some folks from Antigua. Hi, Antigua in the house. How you doing? Look, big up to everyone who's watching the show at this time. Without you, we would have no show. And so tonight we are going to be here for a very, very not only frank but a sizzling conversation tonight. Um, we got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things to talk about. You see, I dress up with my fun suit and so on, and I wait in. I wait in. You notice I went and I look. I don't know how I can make it through this period, But like everything else, as a soldier, you would know how to journey on. And so I'm going to journey on because I was waiting. I was there. I was waiting for this announcement. I was waiting for this announcement. I mean, I behave myself all the time. I behaved before September 1st. I behaved during August. I behaved after September 1st, and I'm still behaving myself. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's the. I don't know. I don't know what is the eligibility. I don't know. I just don't know. Marissa Andrews, how you doing? I wonder if you were waiting there and behaving yourself like me. Look, I can behave bad. I am just going to behave bad because this good behavior thing, it ain't putting you nowhere, absolutely nowhere. This good behavior thing ain't putting me. So I can just behave bad because let me tell you, I'm a big girl now and I can do whatever I feel like doing. I don't care. I am just going to behave bad. I know many of you, many of you, you're having the same thoughts that I'm having. But look, we can talk tonight. We can talk this story tonight. We can talk this story tonight. So tonight, in the news tonight, we have, of course, uh, Gangster Granny is there featuring. Again, we're featuring Gangster Granny. Gangster Granny is there, and she's saying now that she's filing a lawsuit against Melissa Atwell, aka Melly Mel, in Canada. She's fighting that lawsuit in Canada against Melly Mel for allegations that would have been leveled against her. You know, all of these people, emotional discomfort, that kind of discomfort, all the kinds of discomforts. But you know, they don't worry about the discomforts we feel every day, whole day, every week, whole week, every month, whole month. They don't feel those kinds of discomfort. But every time you have to talk about them, oh, discomfort, emotional unrest, this kind of embarrassment, that kind of embarrassment. They don't feel the kind of embarrassments we feel when you go to the shop to buy 2 pounds of sugar and you don't even realize that the price for the sugar raised and you could only buy a pound and a half of sugar or you could only buy 3/4 pounds of sugar. They don't feel those kinds of embarrassment. But every minute they're embarrassed and emotional discomfort. The hell was that, man? So look, I'll you go out with all your suing. I can reach a stage where I can sue people too. So is everybody suing somebody now? You gotta be so careful, eh? When you're talking these stories now, you gotta be so careful because they're suing left, right, center. Well, I must see like Melly. Well, if they sue me, they have nothing to get because I have nothing in my name. So I did try with that. Again, in the news, we have allegations being leveled at the manager of one Citizens Bank in Bartica there, where minors have been claiming that they've been discriminated against. So that one is on the investigation. Again, it's disgusting when we have to work so hard and then when we go to these banking institutions and then they some are favored more than some as if we be still operating in animal farm. Well, of course, it's animal farm again because we have what 1, 2, 3 Guyana. We got the three F's. family, friends, and favorites. And if you're not part of it, then of course you're going to face discrimination. And then we got a big one. We got Big Boy in the house tonight. Big Boy has been appointed Guyana's ambassador and permanent representative to Switzerland, the United Nations, and the World Trade Organizations. We big boy friend. We fancy spy machine friend. Y'all remember this man? Fancy spy machine guy. This was the guy who ordered and imported and so on this spy machine for the famous then Roger Khan. Yes, we big boy friend Leslie Ramsamy. Dr. Leslie Ramsamy has been appointed Guyana's permanent ambassador to Switzerland, the United Nations, and the World Trade Organizations. Fancy boy, yes, fancy boy. And so the story continues, you know. Again, if you're not connected, you can't get no link. And so here again, we got a new link. We had Caroline Rodriguez there. You know, she served as Minister of Foreign Affairs. Dr. Leslie Ramsamy served then as Minister of Health. And that is what baffled most of us because we couldn't understand how the Minister of Health ordering a spy machine. I mean, you weren't using that machine in within the Ministry of Health or at the hospital, you know, or at any one of the clinics. But this machine was, yeah, this machine was ordered and purchased. So the people said that me say so. That was what the people said. It was carried live in the news all over the place. So I didn't say so. So don't think y'all will come and sue me. And then of course we have the APNU right out there. You see us there all the time, APNU out there, and we're meeting with the people. So today we've gotten a motion that was filed by the APNU. Dr. Terence Campbell was the person who moved that motion. It was seconded by MP Psycho Andrews, and they are calling for budgetary support for social infrastructure and the welfare systems. They're asking that the system be better. We do proper things. We do proper things so that we won't have a Doctor Doom, Doctor of Doom, Barrett Jagyo, Demerara Harbor Bridge. We wouldn't have that, or Demerara Bridge, wherever it is. We wouldn't have the sinking of that bridge. And when we hear, you know, things now settling and it's not on the bridge, it's a part, some all kind of stories, all kind of mix up stories you're hearing. But those are some of what we have in the news tonight, and we're going to talk a little more about those issues that are coming up in the news. But you know, like everything else, I always want to make all of us happy. So I'm going to take the time out to say happy birthday to those who would have celebrated their birthdays. I don't know if the operator has a birthday song that he would want to play for some of us, but we've had 60th birthday, 62nd birthday, 25th birthday, 16th birthday, a a lot of birthdays, 80th birthday, 79th birthday, lots and lots of birthdays we would have had. I saw there Miss Tony, I think, way out somewhere in Pennsylvania, somewhere there, celebrating her birthday, 16th birthday. Best wishes to you from your dad, Lawrence Tony, and your mom and your uncles and everybody else. And then we had Patricia McDonald Fraser celebrating her birthday. Oh, yes, operators got one there for us. Nice. So we had the birthday there, and then we had Patricia McDonald Newland celebrating her birthday too. And we got so many other birthdays. But I don't want to continue calling the names because you know I can get myself in problems. You notice I'm looking down here because people sending me birthday saying, oh, you could call someone, you can't call the other. Hi, happy birthday to all of you. And I'm trusting that this year, this new chapter is going to be an amazing one for you. That you're not only going to grow spiritually, but you are going to grow with that wisdom and that sense of discernment so that you'll be able to analyze for yourself. especially those of us who are living in Guyana, and those of us who are in the diaspora, that you are going to see for yourself, and you are going to be able to make, the kind of analysis, and make your comments boldly and stand up for what you believe in. So happy birthday to all those who would have celebrated their birthdays. And then, just as we are celebrating, we have that other aspect. Just recently we lost one of our broadcasting idols. He was an exceptional person, an exceptional person. And every time we lose these icons and these legends, there's always this gap, and it's not easy for anybody to be able to fill those shoes. It is so, 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 so disgusting. I pray that God is going to bring the kind of comfort that is needed at this time to the family of the late Ron Robinson, AA, who gave his life to this country. I pray that God is going to bless him. And to all others who would have lost their loved ones, we want to extend heartfelt condolences to you, and we pray that God is going to bless you, and God is going to grant you the comfort that you need. So, with that, we again, on behalf of this team, extend heartfelt condolences to you, and to say to you, God is going to take care of you. And so, with regards to Comrade Ron Robinson, it's open. With regards to Comrade Ron Robinson, and you notice I'm calling him Comrade Ron Robinson. With regards to the late Ron Robinson, um, there is an entire schedule that is out there with regards to funeral arrangements and this and that and the other and so on. If you follow on Facebook, you're going to see yesterday. I know there was this signing of the Book of Condolence, and then we have a night of reflections. Last night too, there was a program on 104.1, and the funeral is going to be on Friday, I think. Yes. So if you follow there, you're going to be able to pick up the information that is so necessary. Operator, I don't know if you have a little hymn of comfort that you can play for our folks there. If you do, I'd be happy for you to play that for our folks. While the operator is looking for that, I want to also remind that we had the deaths of the death of a young lady. How old is she again? A mother. I saw a mother there wailing and lamenting, a mother there wailing and lamenting on the fact that this government, the incompetence of this government, we continue to lose our children at the in. Oh my gosh. And so we want to extend sympathy to those family members as well. I think, is she 16 years old? I think she's probably 16 years old. The mothers complained that she was there, and the long time that they had to wait to be attended to. And this is simply because we have a group of people who are incompetent. This government continue to build, as they call it, I don't know if it's state of the art or state of the heart hospitals, where we don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses. And so our doctors and our nurses, they are overworked. Overworked, some of them working for 36 hours. And I know Frank Anthony will want to come to challenge me, but it's a fact, and you know that doctors are working at the Georgetown Hospital, and then they have to go to Diamond Hospital, and then some of them have to go to, from they're working at Diamond, and then they have to go and give service at Enmore, and they're working at New Amsterdam Hospital, and they have to go to Bath, overworking our nurses and our doctors. And the sad part, many of our doctors in some hospitals, they are fresh, they are new, they don't have the kind of experience. And sometimes you go to these hospitals and you got two nurses and one doctor. What can they do? In addition to that, we've seen the cutting of fancy ribbons, and big opening ceremony, and all kind of ribbon cutting ceremony. And then you know what? They move the equipment from one hospital to the next hospital, and giving you the impression that these hospitals are stocked, they are fully equipped, when it's nothing of the sort. More than that, they ain't got medication. They ain't got medication because you know what? The medication is being used. The medication is being used, or when they buy the medication, it's bought from a third party. And when they buy it from a third party, you know what happens when they buy it from a third party? They're paying double and triple the cost. That's what happens when they buy it. Double and triple the cost they pay. And then when the medication come here, the shelf life is this short. So you've got to always be out of medication. But that's another aspect that we are going to get into. But let's talk about it. I know that we have operator. Are you still trying to find that? I don't know if operator can't find a comforting song to play. Then we'll have to move on. Um, we've had or we've seen so many things happening across this country, so many things happening across this country, from one fighting to another, from this to the other, from the other to the other. All kinds of things are happening in this country, one after the other, one after the other. I know that we have a guest who's going to be here with us. I'm not sure whether he's in studio as yet. um, if he's in studio, could we bring him on? Because I don't want us to get into the conversation and then, we've got to go. If he's in studio, could we bring him on? Um, just tell me what is happening. Tell me what is happening with you. If you're hearing us clearly, just let me know if you're hearing us clearly. Tell me what's happening with you outside there. Tell me what's happening with you outside there. I mean, we are tired of this kind of nonsense, um, and it's always happening. When it's not power outage here, it's a power outage there, and all kinds of craziness. Um, our guest is not here as yet, but we're gonna bring our guest in just a while. We're going to bring our guest in. But let me tell you what we are going to be. Let's talk about this new thing now with this licensing of drivers, this drivers and the licensing of drivers and this whole thing. But before we get there, operator, you're going to just let's just take a 2 minutes break because I recognize something is troubling us here. Let's just take a minute or two while we settle this thing. Just hold with us. Just hold with us for a minute or two. Just hold with us for a minute or two. Let's settle these issues that we're having there quickly, 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 quickly. Operator.
Jesus, I surrender all to Him. I freely give. I will ever love and trust Him in His presence daily live. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all to Jesus. I surrender humbly at His feet I bow. Worldly pleasures all forsaken, take me, Jesus, take me now. I surrender all. I surrender all.
Yes, so we want to thank the operator for playing that, and I trust that that song will bring comfort to those who are sewing at this time. So we're going to talk a little about the licensing, this licensing thing. I hear the president talking about all these people um, who got their license and they did not go to driving classes. They just did the theory and they do the practical and they get license and he's giving them amnesty to bring in those license. Man, is what really wrong with these people? You know, tonight our topic for discussion says corruption is the milk is corruption in the PPP. Milk is corruption in the that's a thing in the PPP corruption. I find it very disgusting, you know. I find it very disgusting that every time, let me say this first of all, in the parliament, the word corruption has been banned. And you know why? Because the PPP are deeply embedded in corruption. When we talk about licensing for drivers, where do drivers get a license from? Could Coretta McDonald walk into the police station or walk into GRA and decide that I want this license, write up a license for myself and stamp it and bring it out? I can't do that. So what Irfan Ali should be doing is tackling the people in there. You see, until we get to the point where somebody is held accountable, then we will continue to have this kind of corruption. Irfan Ali want to tell me that he know that is big corruption they got between the police and somewhere at GRA. He know that. Maybe he didn't learn that at University of Iflot. Maybe he learned that part. No ordinary citizen can't give themselves a license. So what nonsense you're telling people about, oh, submit their license and stupidness or your license gonna be suspended if they find you and you're going to check this system. Aye man. Stricken the government, wiser the population. So you stop your nonsense here, friend. Don't come with them kind of nonsense to people. What nonsense you really saying? When you put one system, so the people there gonna put another system, two and three other system. Just like what you did. Don't forget you had 19 fraud charges here, friend. 19 you had. So this whole thing about this license and this license and this license. Tackle the people, tackle your own people. Tackle your own people, the licensing officers, the certifying officers, sorry. You tackle them because they're the ones who would send the information to GRA and GRA process your documents and give you your license. It's not no ordinary citizens do that. So look, first of all, you tackle first of all them ministers' children who would have received license and they went nowhere, they didn't even buy the package. You tackle them first. You tackle them first. You print and let us see all those who bought packages and all those who wrote the exams, those who passed the exams, those who did the practical aspect. You print it for us to see. You print it. You and I must get your license by fraudulent by fraudulent means and all. You and I must get it so don't come here and tell people nonsense about the license. What you should do now is say we'll put proper systems in place so that starting now you got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and it gonna pass through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons. That's what you should be doing now. Don't come for tell people about amnesty and that kind of thing. Them truck drivers will come from um, Sammy, Junior Sammy trucks. Most of them are not Guyanese, but they're driving right here and they're creating havocs on our road. You tell me about them. Is y'all grant them contracts to come here? Y'all grant them the contracts and all the waivers to come and bring all them big trucks here. Irfan, don't start me up. Don't start me up. So don't come to tell people nonsense here. Don't come to tell us nonsense here about license. Come here and tell us that after consultation with the general public, we've arrived at this position. So throw the thing out. Don't come with a thing about licensing. And so while we're talking about licensing, again, we've seen corruption billowing at the level of the police station, at the level of the police force. Money got make, box and got throw. Some of them guys out there throwing $20,000 a day bucks on. Huh? So, Air friend, stop with your nonsense. And then while we're talking about the Boxan, we're going to talk about these speeding cameras. I don't understand how these people just wake up just like that and they want to do this. Airfront sleepy wake up, sleep and dream that he went in the cemetery walking 5:30 in the morning, and when he jump up, he realizes a dream and he come out with something. So we are going to have speeding cameras now being placed at the Doctor of Doom Barrett Jagdio Harbor, Demerara Harbor Bridge. We are going to have speed cameras being placed there. It's not no speed cameras. No, that's not a real reason why they're putting those cameras there. They're putting those cameras there because they got to make money. Are y'all in a sense? Huh? They're putting those cameras there because they got to make monies. They tell you that the bridge is free, free crossing. But let me tell you, it's thousands of people gonna be getting speed tickets, 7,500 for one, something so something so. For every thousand that go across that bridge on both sides, when you collect a speed ticket, it's 7,500 you gotta pay. You count it, 1,000 one way, 1,000 the other way, at 7,500. Money's got to make. So these people they always find a way to strangle poor people. They're always finding ways to strangle poor people. Always finding ways to strangle poor people. Now you can give me a speed ticket, but the police gonna be driving across that bridge aimlessly every day, whole day. Nothing, they're not in a hurry for anything, but they put on the siren and they're speeding. You can get speeding ticket for them. You can give them speeding tickets. You can give them speeding tickets. Huh? You might have an ambulance coming across there too with chicken or beef from Brazil. You can give them speed tickets. Are you just full of stupidness? Just full of stupidness. Just full of stupidness. What you've got to do is ensure that you train your personnel in the Guyana Police Force. Train them well so that they are able to monitor what is happening there. And you know what? Is the kind of lawlessness that we got in this country that causing people to be speeding and driving so reckless on this road. You travel the world and you can see whether they got speeding tickets on bridge. You travel the world. But these folks are always with like some folks would say the jackassishness. They come with that. Always come with something like that. But let me remind you, money's got for make. So the bridge is no free. Money's got for make because don't forget, it's a loan we took to have that bridge there, for that bridge to be constructed. It got to be repaid, and it's gonna be repaid 2 and 3 times because they can take the monies that you and I are supposed to receive. They can take those and repay the loan. Plus, they can collect the speeding fines from me and you, and it can go in someone them pockets. Yes, it will go in their pockets. So it's a wheel in a wheel in another wheel, and every day the gap will continue to widen between those who are rich, the elites, and those who are poor. The gaps will continue to widen. So, viewers, I don't know how y'all see it, but y'all better look at it. Y'all better look at it. You remember it was the APNU who had dropped the cost for crossing the Berbice Bridge. I mean, the PPP they love people so much. They love the people in Region 6 so much. And they put big costs for you to cross the Berbice Bridge. It's the APNU who had to come and drop the cost. And so I want to say to you, big up to the APNU, always concerned about the people, people centered. You can't beat the APNU. But you know what happened to some of us? Some of you, some of your children, they allow a couple dollars, a few pieces of silver to sway them. They allow a cook up rice, a box of cook up rice to sway them. So it's 5 more years on them. 5 more years on them. But let me tell you what, the APNU will never give up on our people. We will never give up on our people. The advancing the cost crew will never give up on our people. Let me remind you, it was the APNU who had constructed passport office. We decentralized the passport office, so we had passport office in other areas. The people in Berbice, they, after years of having to travel from Berbice at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're traveling there so that you can be in the line early o'clock at Camp Street. We decentralized that and we put passport office in the different regions so that you could have gone there to apply for your passport and to uplift your passport. You know what the PPP did since they returned to office? They cut it out. They cut it out. They love the corruption. They love the corruption. So the milk is corruption for them. They love it. Or corruption is the milk for them. They love it. So they have abandoned that. And that's the people, those are the people who talk about they love you, you know. Those are the people who talk about because we care. Well, we can get to that aspect just now. We can get to that aspect. But as we go along, we recognize that you remember sometime last week, we had a breakage at the Ministry of Home Affairs. Imagine. Well, I don't know if you're alarmed, but I'm not alarmed. Because right at the police station, when your car is impounded and it's placed in the compound of the police station, your mirror is lost, your car is break into, your decks disappear. So with the breakage at the Ministry of Home Affairs, I wasn't surprised by that. What I was surprised about, though, is the minister with her foolish response because people spoke about it. People were saying, well, if at the Ministry of Home Affairs, if they ain't safe, how my house or my home is going to be safe? If they're not safe at the Ministry of Home Affairs, that complex is not safe. What happened to my house? We ain't got no cameras. They got a world of cameras, and yet still we had a breakage there. I don't know what the people they're looking for. I don't know who sent them, because these things got a funny way of evolving. People recognize that some clamp coming on them, they light fire to the place. People recognize that clamp coming somewhere, they send people to break in to carry away documents. So I don't know who sent the man. I can't say no. And I don't know, but the man break in the place. And we had guards. We had guards there. I don't know if it was all female, if it was mixed, but we had guards there. And I mean, well, bring down police station in there no more because they're putting up 12-story building. I hope the building going up properly and they're gonna allow it to settle properly. Um, the other day, and this just for the fun of it, the other day when they had the Demerara Harbor Bridge to do the load testing, they wanted Odessa and I to be there to do the load testing. But I want to tell them they got plenty over the other side who could do load testing. Your friend yourself could go for do load testing right at the 12-story building that they're going to be putting up there because we want no catastrophe here. But yes, we're talking about the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs was broken into. And the foolish minister, rather than saying that we're going to put proper systems in place and we're going to work to ensure that this happens and that happens, she got out an abusing spree because people talked about even the Ministry of Home Affairs. Y'all remember a commissioner of police had his home broken into? Thieves went into and ransacked his home. Well, if they could go and ransack the commissioner of police home, why they can't go and ransack the Ministry of Home Affairs? Yes, and so rather than saying, we might have had a lapse, we've got to put other better systems in place, she come out with an abuse out response. And that's all they're good for, Nothing. If they do something and you're critical about it, they abuse you out. If a decision is made by a magistrate or a judge and it's not in their favor, they cuss them out. That's all they can do. They don't accept no kind of criticism. You shouldn't criticize them. You should always be saying, yes, Father, that is true. Yes, Master. Yes, my Lord. No, they don't want people to talk about it. So she cuss out. But this is the very minister who's but you all see the effectiveness with which the police worked, and they were able to catch the perpetrators of the gas station bombing. But with the same breath, she couldn't tell us who owned the gas station. That's top secret. She can't tell us up to now who owned that gas station. But we go find out, don't worry. With the same breath, she can't tell us who killed Adriana Young. Can't tell us up to now. We can't know up to now who killed Adriana Young. With the same breath, she couldn't tell us about the disappearance of that young man on Main Street. I think it's about a year ago. The family are still wondering where he is and Up to now, the cameras there ain't picking up nobody. You know, the Henry boys murder, so many other murders. They can't tell us what should be using out to say, oh, well, with all the talks they're talking, the police were able to apprehend the young man and he's working. We are so sure if it's that young man. We're not so sure because we didn't hear about the boy Troy Green, who they said was in the lockup. You remember Brickdam when Brickdam, they fired Brickdam, that Troy Green light the place afire. And Troy Green had some sponge with some wire. I don't know how Troy Green got into the lockups, and he had wire and he had sponge and he had lighter. Maybe the police gave him those things to burn the station. No, it got to be something like that. Because when you're going into the lockups, they strip you from your belt, take off the lacing from your sneakers, anything that you've got there that look as if you can use it to harm yourself, they will take it away from you. So I don't know how Troy Green, they say he named Troy Green, and then the whole story with Troy Green and so vanished. But the Minister of Home Affairs is very pompous. Very pompous. This is the same minister who had to be sworn in twice. Very same minister who had to be sworn in twice. So she should not even attempt to want to reprimand anybody. And people got a right to talk about it if the Ministry of Home Affairs is broken into. People got a right to talk about it. But I guess that's their way of operating. But we can listen out to hear what happened to this young man and the break-in and where this case going. But we got a bigger boy to talk about. We got a bigger boy to talk about. This GPL matter. This GPL matter. This GPL thing. I'm sure, just like you, this GPL thing has really hurt my head. This GPL story, I just can't get over it. When it's not blackbirds eating the copper, eating something, eating the. When it's not the blackbirds, it's rats. Now the rats now graduate, so they bring their family Yaori, what we call Yaori, a bigger rat, bigger one from the rat family. Now is Yaori, bigger rat. I don't know what's going on with GPL. Back in the days of the coalition, you could count on your fingers the amount of times we had power outages. Now we got one ship, we got two ships. I don't know if they ain't got no anchor to keep them down. I don't know what happening with the ships, but it's more blackout, and every day is plenty, plenty blackout. And let me tell you, this blackout don't only just happen in one place. This blackout this blackout is be across the country. Across the country, we just have blackout, entire shutdown. So I don't know if this Yauri, they multiply and they send some to Kingston and they send some to somewhere, they send some to Barbies, they send some somewhere else. So whenever you see they strike, I mean, these got to be very, very smart Yaoris. Got to be smart Yaoris. And with that kind of smartness, they could never have attended the University of Ireland. Never, never, never. And then we got the outside of the power ships, we got some new company all come there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But you see again, nobody ain't getting sent home for these kinds of things. Not a soul. Not a soul. The other day, the cultural center, blackout. I remember when Shady Jagan was, I think he's at the cultural center too. He was going to address a forum that they had there, blackout. And you know what person said? That could never have been Forbes Burnham. Anytime Forbes stood up there, it was Forbes. Heads would have been rolling, people they gone home. Nothing. But here again, it's the incompetence of the people. It's the incompetence of the people. We got Nigel, not Nigel, is what he name? Anil Chatri boy. Chatri got he brother Chat 4. He brother who heading there, all of them drawing big, big, big money. Chatri and he brother, they competing against each other to get big fancy fat cat salaries. I think they're probably receiving more monies than the president. Um, big fancy salaries these guys are taking home, but yet Guyanese are suffering every minute. Power outage. Sometimes during the day, 4 or 5 times you get power outages, as if it's whole year is Christmas for us. Whole year we celebrating Christmas, not only Christmas time, whole year, because it's on off, on off, on off. And the sad part of it is when we have the power outage and they destroy your equipment, GPL telling you all kinds of foolishness. Is all kind of stories they're telling you. Now you buy a fridge since, well, 2020, and they're asking you to keep that receipt. Asking you to keep that receipt. I mean, what the nonsense we going through? What kind of nonsense is this? Huh? Asking you, telling you, they're asking you for the receipt of purchase. Well, I gotta keep the receipt for me money I take and buy the refrigerator. Your power outage damage it, and I got to produce receipt. And if I can't produce the receipt, then I can't get nothing. I mean, this we just ain't going nowhere. Yes, this very country with the fastest growing economy, this same country with the fastest growing economy, this is what we got going on. The country with the fastest growing economy, we got madness happening in here. Yes, this same country, very same country, the new Dubai of the Caribbean, blackout every minute. I think it's time, as a nation, as a people, we start mobilizing in Essequibo and we come and we stand up in front of GPL. On the Essequibo, in Lethem, we do the same thing. In Region 6, we do the same thing. In Region 5 and Region 4, everywhere we should stand up in front of the GPL offices and let them understand that this nonsense is time for us to be over with blackout, what we call blackout. So now rather than thinking about buying, you could buy fairy lights for Christmas, you don't gotta buy nothing because GPL giving you it live and direct. GPL giving you it, all you gotta say is G. You don't gotta say the PLL, blackout in your skin. Blackout in your skin. And every time there's a power outage, when the power returns, your meter jump. You know that. So it's more costing in your skin, more lashes for you. Poor people got to continue to suffer. But I don't know. I don't know. We probably got to take back GPL and make it Guyana Electricity Corporation again. We probably got to take it over. Because with all this privately owned and who got shares and who ain't got shares, and we ain't going nowhere. So maybe that is why the great visionary Lyndon Forbes Burnham had nationalized many, many, many of these companies. Many, many of these companies were nationalized, but this one ain't nationalized, so nobody, no explanation. As a matter of fact, who's Coretta McDonald that they gotta come and explain to me why this, why that, why the other. It's disgusting, very disgusting. And we have to take a stand against it. We have to take a stand against it. But as we go along, we talking. What about this cash grants thing? I really don't understand this thing with this cash grants. Somebody got to tell me is how much cash grant we get in, how much we get in from this man. How much cash grant we can get from this man? We're supposed to have Ganesh on with us here tonight. I hope Ganesh can come on and don't make excuse again that he can't come on. Ganesh, you can do so many things. I hope you're coming on because our people are waiting for you to be on here. So don't try to make excuses again that you got to do this and what in that and what in the other. Make sure you come on the program here. Our folks are looking out for you. But this cash grant thing, y'all think this what was man really say with this cash grant? Eh? Y'all hear anything? Eh? The man come for talk about rolling out a 5-year agenda. I mean, if it's 5 years to bring us happiness and to ease poverty, I noticed the IDB said the percentage of poverty is 58%. Poverty, 58%. Um, of our citizens are living in poverty, and 32% are living in extreme poverty. I say so. I ain't say so. The IDB in their report said poverty is on the rise. 58% of our people are living in poverty, and 32% are living in extreme poverty. Um, Doctor of Doom, Vice President, and why you explain that must come next week, Thursday, because I missed you Thursday last. Must come Thursday and explain to us what this really saying. Come and explain this to us. I don't know. But that's what the IDB is saying, is not I saying so. But while we're looking at all of that, I want to remind you that during the coalition's term in office, our inflation rate was 0.9. 0.9%. between that 2015, 2020 coming down there, 2016, 2017, and so on, the PPP come into office, it gone to 4.5 and 5%. 4.5 heading to 5% inflation rate, killing poor people all the time. All the time, oppression for the poor people. All the time, oppression, oppression, oppression for the poor people. When we gonna stop with this heavy weight? When we gonna stop with these knees, the PPP's knees on our necks? PPP, when you gonna take your knees off the necks of poor people in Guyana? When? When you gonna take it off? But you know what? Again, a lot of us got caught up with a lot of trickery. Plenty, plenty of us got caught up with trickery. So, 5 more years, like the people say, 5 more years on them, 5 more years on them, 5 more years on them. Is that so? 5 more years on them. Look, folks, we got to do the thing right. We got to do it right. But let me ask you this thing. Let me ask you this thing. Yeah, sometimes, I just got to go into my Barbie stock. I got to go into my Barbie Squealy stock. Um, do you know how a 35-year-old man or woman, 35-year-old, who would have worked for less than 5 years, how they could afford to build a house for 200 million? Y'all know how? Eh? Y'all know how? And I know that we got plenty, plenty 35-year-old billionaires living in this country, Guyana. Plenty, plenty of them. Maybe I remember Indra Chandra Paul, when she was minister, then she said, when she was questioned on the homes that were built, they got the two houses up by UG side there, identical homes that were built. And so she said it was the family were sending monies to them in barrels. The monies they coming in barrels for them from overseas. The family used to send monies in barrels. So maybe family members are still sending monies in barrels, and they pack it up until they get a barrel of money, and then another barrel of money, and then another barrel. I don't know if it's dollar bills, US dollar bills, if it's $5, if it's $20, $10, $100, 20. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know is what kind of what the bills are, or if it's coins they're sending. I don't know. But it seems as if we still got families sending monies in barrels, so that these folks can be 35 years old, ain't really work nowhere, but they can own $200 million home. They can build $200 million house. You know, if y'all could find out, y'all let me know. Some of them got condos, some of them got apartment buildings, some got several buildings, some got several vehicles. Hey, somebody who on here, y'all just see if y'all could contact one of them guys. Something Mustafa Sons, see if y'all could contact one of them, Azudine. Some one of them, Priya, some one of them, see if y'all could contact some one of them, and tell them share the thing, man. Tell them share. Look, y'all just share the thing, share it like how we share, like you share the life. Tell them let us share the thing. So I mean, all we want to live little good. We got children. Come share the thing with us, man. Share the know-how with us, so that we can get our families to start sending monies in, either sending in barrels or sending in boxes, or send some crate, and it got two or three containers there, or two or three barrels. Something y'all share the know-how, man, so that we would be able to get some of the thing. But let me talk this part of the story. This one ain't hot. This one ain't hot. Um, I see the other day we got two house lots. We talking about Minister of Agriculture here, eh? Minister of Agriculture um Mustafa. Um, there are allegations that they got houses that were built. I don't know if it's he got the houses or his son got the houses, but his minister Mustafa and his sons them in this story. The big corruption story, man. I remember them talking about former minister Annette Ferguson, and she got four house lots, something, something, something. But hey, we got this one. We got three house lots in Providence. Three house lots in Providence. Operator can show us the picture just now. Three house lots in Providence. Each of those house lots was ranging between 50 to $71 million. 50 to 71 million Guyana dollars for one plot of land. One plot of land. 50 to 75 to 70 million Guyana dollars. Now, if you get three, it means that if we're talking about a $50 million plot, is 50 by three, that's 150. If it's a $70 million plot, 70 by 3 is $210 million. And that's only for the plot of land. That's not for the developmental works that you're going to do on this land yet. So you see how much monies we're talking about here. I don't know if these monies are generation. I don't know where these monies come from, but it's just amazing. And you know what is disgusting is the fact that when we look at the salary, not only of Mustafa, but all their ministers. When you look at the salaries of these ministers, some of them, their salary is just about $1.2 million, just about $1.2 million per month. So at the end of the year, it's somewhere around 14.4, somewhere there $1 million at the end of the year. You see the kind of spans that people get. You see them kind of mansions that people get there. Look, that's them kind of mansions that people get there. Plus, they got apartment buildings alongside them. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. Huh? $150 million. Let's say $150 million for the plot of land, the three house lots. Where did these people get the monies from? First of all, to pay for these house lots. Secondly, to be able to buy the building materials, to be able to pay the contractors. Y'all tell me now, to be able to furnish those homes. And remember, they still got to eat, they still got to wear, they still got to drive. Plus, they're driving big fancy vehicles. Where these monies come from? Y'all understand why poor people got to suffer in this country? Y'all understand why poor people got to suffer in this country? Because it's big, big, big skullduggery. Now, I want a piece of land. People apply since don't know when for a piece of land. They can't get it. But a minister, according to Azardine, who was their good friend, I remember that. According to Azardine, Mustafa, and I know where Mustafa's from, Bloomfield on the Quarantine. Mustafa got a nice wooden house there, you know. Well, it expanded now to a mansion since he turned a minister. And within 5 years, these people are able to accumulate all this wealth. Yes, you're talking about Priya. Yes, Priya had house in Pradoville, one that she sell, and she got next house now. I think is in what the place name? The place on the East Bank there, the gated community. Yeah, she got a house there. The people say so. Eh? The people say Priya got a house up there. So she sold that one and she buy a next one, and all these people just doing all kinds of things. Yeah, don't y'all remember the plot that Barajan you got? Prime land that he paid next to nothing for. But if it were somebody else, they would have wanted to pressure you. Y'all remember how they bulldozed the people from Mecca? Huh? Bulldozed them from off of that plot of land and saying, oh, it was in the way of the construction. It was going to humbug the construction. Bulldoze those people. And if you go there, you would see that there's a trench, there's the new road, a trench in the middle, a big trench in the middle, and the plot of land that the people were living on. Bulldoze those people off of their property simply because where that road, that Heroes Highway, is going to be, that those lands are now prime lands, and so ordinary people can't live there. Ordinary people can't live there. Only people like Mustafa and his sons, and maybe Priya got spot there, and Sonia and Susan, and all of them probably got spots right there. Or if they don't have it, their family got it, or they got it and it's in somebody else's name. But that's how wicked these people are, and we got to call them out. We got to call them out for who they are. We got to call these people out for who they are. So that's the story with that big man, those big mansions, and the apartment buildings and so on that we seem to have there. And under the coalition, we had the group. I'm trying to remember the name of the organization. It just slipped me. But that was the organization that was headed by Professor Clive Thomas. And that organization was the organization that was going out there to find out how persons were able to acquire all that they have. They had to report. They don't matter with integrity commission. Don't matter with them. Don't matter with no integrity. Nah. Integrity commission reach the level yet. Relax yourself. Don't matter with integrity commission. But It was that organization that was going to root up everything and expose people. So they scrapped that. The PPP scrapped that. By the time they got into office, they scrapped that. And then we got Soko. Well, when you talk about Soko, you get headache, eh? You get headache when you talk about Soko, because Soko probably suing Sue, or he looking for Sue, or something. But they say right there, lots and lots of corruption has take place. Right there, it is alleged that lots and lots of corruption has take place. Right there at Soko, all kinds of things happen there, and so we have to be very, very mindful of what is happening there. Very, very, very mindful we have to be. So we're going to have to look at those things. These ministers must be able to account for how they would have acquired the kinds of resources that they have. They must be able to account for it. These ministers must be able to account for everything that they have there, because it's not their money. It's not their monies. Those monies belong to the people of Guyana. And if you are going to be there and you're acquiring all these wealth, then something is wrong, because it doesn't match the salaries that you're receiving. It doesn't match the salaries you're receiving. So we can move on from there. We'll move on from right there, and we can talk about Nila. We can talk about Neela. Neela is a um a new a new arm of the Ministry of Education. Neela. It's a new arm of the Ministry of Education. It is the National Education Leadership Academy. Neela. I don't know is whose son or who daughter or who niece named Neela. But Neela is the acronym for this thing. I don't know who named it, but it's the new acronym. Now, I don't understand why we always going to reinvent the wheel. We always reinventing the wheel, always reinventing the wheel. Now, I mean, we got CPC. Why couldn't this be an arm or an annex of CPC? CPC is where teachers are being trained. And if you're going to talk about training your middle managers and your upper level managers and administrators, why couldn't we do some additional work at CPC and put this annex there? But you know what? Money's got to make. Money's got to make. We got answered. Why couldn't we expand NSERD and put this unit in there? But again, like I'm saying, money's got to make. Money's got to make. We got to make the money. So you know what's gonna happen? We gotta get a building. We got to get a building. This is a whole new entity, Mind you, we are not against continuous professional training of every profession. The police force, we are saying that they must continue to do professional training. Nurses and doctors, continuous professional training. Teachers, continuous professional training for every level. We're not against that. What we're against is creating new wheels. Every time you're creating new wheels, simply because, like the building that CID have there that they're occupying on Vicinsion Road, is some family building, and every month they're collecting millions in rental. Every month, millions in rentals. So some building that is going to be used for this unit, where millions is going to be paid in rental. And of course, with the millions that is going to be paid in rental, you got to have new administrator or director, because we always got all kind of fancy titles that we carve out for these people, And I'm not surprised if we're not gonna have there incompetent people. I'm not surprised if we're going to have incompetent people manning that, but we wait to see. We welcome the idea every time of continuous professional training. But again, is the three F's going to be benefiting from this? The three F's will benefit: friends, the families, and the favorites. More monies, corruption at its best. More money is to be spent. More money is to be spent. Um, you know, while we're doing this, continuous professional training, we're not talking about raising the salaries of our teachers. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about making our schools more comfortable and safe for our teachers and our learners. We're not talking about that. We talking foolishness about state of the heart school. You go and see some of them state of the heart school. You visit some of them, you can see the children, the passageway, it wide like this. The children playing there, and somebody hit some, push somebody hard, and their hand hit the wall, and a big hole in the wall. Lights not working, and all these state of the heart schools and all these schools that they're building. You didn't see Priya like a fish out of water, up down all around before elections. All these schools that were commissioned, the buildings are they're not completed. Works are still being done, and don't talk is hundreds of millions of dollars were allotted to contract, were awarded in contract, and all of these places, every single one of these places, these schools, they're not yet completed. And you know what has to happen? Central ministry got to be doing works on many of those buildings, because when the contractors hand over those buildings, the contractors ain't got time with you anymore. As long as it's signed off, contractor done with you. So central ministry got to pay to do whatever corrective work has got to be done on those buildings now. And so I tell you all about the corruption. It big. It big. And you see, when some of us got husbands who are contractors and engineers, and so the work going straight to them. Straight to them, the work going. So again, the gap between the rich and the poor will continue to widen, just like the Doctor of Doom, Barajagdio Harbor Bridge, Demerara Harbor Bridge. It will continue to widen because these people don't stop at nothing. The PPP don't stop at nothing. They stop at absolutely anything, nothing. Anywhere where they feel that they could make some monies, they're gone for it. Anywhere where they think they could make some monies, they're gone for it. So they don't stop at anything. They don't stop at anything. And who got to repay it? My children, your children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, and all of them got to repay all these loans. All these loans that are taken to do these foolishness. So here we have Neela. I don't know if it's one of the minister's nieces, but here we have Neela, and we wish Neela the best. Let me say that. But again, we are disheartened by the amount of monies that you use to do foolishness when we have institutions that you can expand and put your units there. We have institutions that we can use to do that. But again, again. Operator can show us what we're talking about when we talk, and while we're talking about schools and we're talking about education, we have seen recently a rise in bullying, lots and lots of fighting. Operator is going to show us a few of them. We have seen unacceptable, vulgar behavior coming from our children. You know, we have seen that, and we've not seen any kind of solid, real solid documents coming out from the Ministry of Education. You see, look what we're talking about. Fight at school. Disrupting the whole school in chaos. Fight at school. And it's not one day or once per month. Sometimes for the week, 4 or 5 fights at different schools. This is what we have to be faced with. Our children have to go through these kinds of things. Fights at schools. This school, that school, the other school. We've not seen any comprehensive document coming from the Ministry of Education with regards to how we are going to be dealing with these fights. I can tell you, during the coalition's term in office, the coalition had a bus there to deal with psychosocial issues. And they had that was a full unit, and that bus used to be going around from school to school and community to community. As soon as the PPP got into office, they scrap it. And I keep saying all the time, our children mirror what they see adults do. So every time the attorney general cussing out some magistrate or some judge or somebody for something, our children are seeing that and they mirror that. So don't wonder why our children are behaving the way they behave. Our children behave the way they see lawless adults behave. Our children would have seen the former Minister of Education, Priya Manichan, abusing out and going on. So our children think it's okay. When you have an issue, you cuss out and the issue finish. Our children have seen Barrett Jagdeo abusing and cussing out and calling people the meanest of names. So it's okay. We would have given license to our children to behave anyhow. Our children have seen Nigel Daramlal, Kwame McCoy, the whole crew of them behaving crazy. Those behaviors are not normal behaviors, and our children have copied them and they think it's the right thing to do. And these are the very people who want to come to school, like old people would say, scold you or reprimand other persons when you make statements. These foolish people, these nincompoops want to come and scold other people when you have to talk about their behavior. Judge Kisoon ruled against the government and Nigel Nandalal. Laws, you know, Magistrate Lachman the other day, Lachman, wherever Lachman, made a ruling. She granted bail to the Mohammeds. It was a big news out. But when she said now, when the decision was made that the case is going to be tried in the magistrate's court. Oh my boy, Anil, nobody like he. As long as it doesn't suit you or it doesn't suit them, it's fire and brimstone. But when it suits them, it's okay. It's all well and good. I mean, how long are we going to continue with this kind of nonsense? How long? How long do we continue with this kind of nonsense? It's disgusting, very very disgusting, and we must put a stop into it. We gotta put a stopping to this thing. Got to put a stopping to this. Our children must not be allowed to see these kinds of madness. Look, the other day there was um the highlighting of the conditions at the Amerindian hostel, and you know what? I have seen several shows who they place there and give them written scripts to come out and talk about. Oh, I mean, Azardine is not my friend. Y'all know that. But I've seen them put several persons out there to condemn the behavior of Azardine Mohammed and Odessa Primus and whoever else. But I've not seen one of them condemn the behavior of Auntie Claudine. I've not seen one of them. And this woman, I'm sure the opposition operator, I'm going to call you opposition leader. Operator, I'm sure you have that a little bit of that video to show us. I've not seen any one of them. Not that one. We have another video, but that's Auntie Claudine there. That's Auntie Claudine there. I've not seen any one of them. None of them condemn the behavior of one of their supporters. Not one of them. And she has been saying the most vilest of things on social media. The most vilest of things on social media. And I've not seen any one of them condemning her. None. So, in other words, it's okay when the shoes is on your foot. But when the shoes is not on your foot, then you know what? The hell was that? We can do what you can do what you want. We don't care about it. Auntie Claudine, I'm sure you would have seen that. A very big woman. I'm sure she's over 60. Behaving in the manner that she behaved in, right in the full view of the public, Auntie Claudine, in the full view of the public. I'm trying to see if I have the video there to share with you. In the full view of the public. And then she went on to go out there and abuse out with fatter breath, you know. And not one of the PPP ministers, Priya, Sonia, Susan, Sarah, Gail, Vindy, Alien Mouth, none of them, none of the women there have come out to condemn her behavior. What do you expect our children to do? Hmm? How do you expect our children to behave? And then when the children behave in a particular way, a way that is very unpleasant, in ways that are vulgar, then we want to put out bold statements. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Correct yourselves first. Children learn from examples, from elders. They learn from what they see. So if every Thursday you got the abuse out, ma want to come and abuse out, then our children will abuse out because they feel that that's the right thing to do. Somebody offend you, cuss them out. We've got to do this thing properly. We've got to do it properly. I remember back in the days when I attended school, everybody was auntie this, uncle that, cousin somebody. You couldn't pass an elderly person on the street without saying good morning or good afternoon. You couldn't be seen fighting on the street if by chance you were fighting and you saw an elderly person. If you see how quick you're running in your shell and you're behaving with the person who you were having the fight with, as if it's not anything, as if y'all just having a little friendly tug, because you know they were scolding you right there, and then the message would have gotten to your parents. But there has been a total breakdown in the system, all because of the PPP. The PPP have caused a total breakdown in our system. But let me tell you what, we got to pull it back. We got to pull that back. If we want to save our children, we've got to pull it back. We've got to pull that back if we want to save our children. So many of us, many of us will cry. We've got to pull it back. Our children have got to learn to be respectful. Our children they got to learn to be respectful, and they could only learn to be respectful if we show them the right examples. We've got to show them the right things. We've got to do the right things. And if we don't do the right things, our children will do what is wrong. And then we'll have much more happening in our society. Long ago, some of our grandmothers and great grandmothers would tell us they hadn't to sleep with they never bolted their doors. Now you got grill on your doors like the Ministry of Home Affairs, grill on the windows, but yet still thieves going in. So that in itself should tell us that there has been a breakdown in the system. Total breakdown in the system. Total breakdown in the system. I mean, again, I'm returning to the state of the heart hospitals where we're spending billions of dollars at these state of the heart hospitals, but yet we can't have worth for monies. Can't have worth for monies at these state of the heart hospitals. Can't have worth for monies. And operator, would be happy for you to share some of those videos with us so that we can look, our viewers can see what we're talking about. Our viewers can see exactly what we're talking about. It is Guyana gone to the dogs, let me say so. But you know what? We can pull this. We can pull this. We can return Guyana just the same way we're going to return Georgetown to the Garden City. We can return Guyana to what it used to be.
First
We
want
can
this
return
message here
Guyana to
to
what it
reach the
used to
Minister
be.
of Housing in Guyana, okay? Oh man, I got a little sympathy for poor people, man. I got a little sympathy now. I see it in Bladen Hall. The people the housing ministry people break down the people house. Break down them house without notifying them. Huh? Guyanese I do like that. Poor people I do like that. Huh? And you get foreigner coming Guyana. Foreigner coming Guyana. And I get prize piece of land. And Guyanese are living in Guyana. I see one lady, she get 5 kids. 5 kids she get. Break down the lady house. Where the lady go take her children now? I put system in place. Before I break down the people's house, I give them one piece of land. Give them, that's priority. Give Guyanese land so that they can build a house and live comfortably in Guyana. Okay? In Guyana, there's Guyanese born and raised in Guyana. Can't get a piece of land. I see an old lady. 5 kids. Break down the lady house. Huh? I got a little sympathy for poor people, man.
That's the caring government that we talk about. That's the very caring government that we talk about. That's the caring government we talk about. We're going to show you another one. We're going to show you another one. We're going to show you another one where another young
Pour
man
your
is
money
talking.
Changi, I'll stab in the back.
There's a prayer manager and give you a
I
stab
just
in the
wanted to
back.
get some of this.
Laugh and smile and come and hug you up and then stab you in the back. Some of you are stupid. It's good for y'all. Yeah, I know some of y'all don't come for me, but it's good for y'all. Y'all know how these people stay. And still y'all gonna make friends with these people. Big hugging up, big greetings. Yeah, we can give y'all what? Look what they give y'all for the holiday. We are gonna do y'all business now. It's good for y'all, man. Let them go to Mahipaul and move them people off Mahipaul public road. Them and guy in there. Them and guy in there. Look what them doing too. Look what they're doing it too. Y'all open your eyes. Yep. Y'all got a lot more to come. A lot more to see. Y'all have a blessed day. It's good for y'all.
You see, frustration. This is what frustration does, They come nice up with you. Oh, cook up rice. And what after that? And what after that? And I must say it. You look around. Every time they go to some of these Afro Guyanese communities, what they do, they come and share. They cook up rice, and they give you a little bag with a packet of chow mein, 2 tins of corn, a packet of flour, a packet of sugar. But when they go to other areas where their supporters are, they're giving them small grants, all kinds of monies they're giving them. And so we continue to say two Guyanas and not one Guyana. And we've got to talk about these things. Some of you don't like it, but it's a fact. We have to talk about these things. We cannot continue to have a government who feel that they can only serve one group of people. We are all Guyanese, and you are government for the people of Guyana, whether we voted for you or not. We have a right to belong to another political party. And it is your obligation to ensure that we live in safe communities. We have proper drinking water. We have proper lighting facilities. We have proper health care system. We have proper educational system, that the education sector is properly run, because those children are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. And if we don't inculcate right values and morals in them, then what will we have in another 2 years? Lawlessness, more lawlessness, plenty, plenty more lawlessness. And Priya Manichan, you got to take blame for a lot of what is happening in our society. You have to take the blame. I mean, Sonia come now, and Sonia got to take some too. She would have inherited where you left there, but both of y'all can take lashes for it. Both of you. And talking about Sonia and lashes, look, these people are so petty, so very, very petty, that to date, since the ruling of Judge Kisoon last year, April, to date, they have not reinstated the deduction of the Jews for the GTU. To date, 1 year and months to date. And then Anil Nandilal would want to jump up and talk about what is vexatious and what is this and what is that foolishness. Anil Nandilal, where are you? You need to honor the ruling of the court. Hmm? But you want to talk about who must pay this, and you're all ready to sue and ready to sue. Honor the obligations of the courts. You must honor the laws of this land. The court made a decision. The judge ruled. The appeals court held up the ruling of the judge. And yet, to date, you can't reinstate the deduction of the Jews for the GTU. Simply because the GTU is not one of them suck up ones who can wait for drink soup. Y'all can't control the GTU. So you tell yourself you're going to stifle the GTU and kill the GTU. But I want you to know that our teachers are committed. Our teachers are committed, and they will continue while we don't get all of them from the union to pay their dues. Most of them are committed, and they're paying their union dues via MMG and other means. This government is a wicked government. And if you don't know how wicked this government be, look at what they would have done to you with the promise of the cash grant. Huh? Look at what they would have done to you with the promise of the cash grant. But y'all gonna hear more about the cash grant, because I see is the whole school you bring out, mother, grandfather, niece, great grand, everybody they bring out for big puppy show. Big puppy show to hear a long, long, dry, useful address. I enable. Operator, we got another one that you could play there. I guess y'all and behave yourself. Y'all and behave yourself.
And I heard PM, you told them next year is the next grant. If they behave themselves, they get it this year. We will have a beautiful Christmas. We will have a beautiful Christmas. Look at the smile on my face and know that you will have an enjoyable holiday season. Brothers and sisters, trust me.
The announcement
This man is a madman. The man suffering from mental health. That very man suffering from mental health issues. Mental health issues the man suffering from. You're gonna have a beautiful Christmas. We're still waiting for it. But you know, some of us like these promises. Some of us like these promises. Some of us like the promises. We like the promises. But let me tell y'all, I don't know if the operator got it there, but we're looking at these roads that this government building, these roads that they're constructing, all these roads, friends, family, favorites, grandson, everybody getting construction. They turn a contractor, they're constructing roads. And all of these roads that they're constructing in these villages, two vehicles can't pass at the same time. Two vehicles cannot pass at the same time. And all these roads that is a whole lot of monies, plenty millions for these roads. But you know what? There is no revetment or shoulders on these roads. None whatsoever. None you can't have. No surf. They don't have anywhere there for water to drain off. No, nothing in place for water to drain off. So on some of the roads you're going and you're seeing there, oh wow, look who we have on the show at this time. Ganesh Mahipaul. Ganesh, I know the people would put some lashes on you. Oh God.
Correct. We did not behave ourselves apparently because it's going to be a gloomy Christmas. No cash grant has been announced. In fact, what he said is that he's going to cater in the 2026 budget for $100,000 for people 18 and older, but that's not what was promised. And when he campaigned in August for September 1st election, the promise was that we're going to have a good Christmas should he return to office. And
Well,
the
just
people voted for him.
Ganesh, just hold for me. Operator, could you play that for us again? Operator, play that one for us again.
And I heard PM, you told them next year is the next grant. If they behave themselves, they get it this year. We will have a beautiful Christmas. We will have a beautiful Christmas.
Ganesh people, I don't know what kind of Christmas y'all gonna have. But if I were y'all, I would go at Lenora, sit down in front there. I would go at State House and sit down in the avenue. I would have gone somewhere by Freedom House and sit down right there. Budget 2026 will cater for cash grant $100,000. And by the time you get a $100,000, Ganesh, milk gone two times higher. Pumpkin, if it's not, it can move from 1,000 to 12 and $1,500. Ganesh, how do you feel about this address to the nation? I wish GPL to give me blackout.
Well, Coretta, I think that Irfan Ali delivered a carefully scripted address that was very rich in optimism and self-congratulation. The manner in which the address was delivered, for me, is deeply troubling and speaks volumes about this government's attitude towards democratic accountability. The president chose to address the nation from outside the seat of the National Assembly at a time when, despite members of parliament have already been sworn in, the assembly has not convened. In a parliamentary democracy, accountability belongs in the National Assembly, where the government's statements are subject to scrutiny, debate, and opposition response, not in staged national broadcasts delivered without challenge. This approach represents a clear disrespect for the National Assembly and a troubling disregard for constitutional norms. There are certain things that he said for me that is only can be concluded as hogwash. He claimed that more than, I think it's 53,000 persons have received house lots. That is misleading. Over
Lie.
30,000 Guyanese who paid the Central Housing and Planning Authority remain unable to access their lands. Many still unaware of its location. You
Mhm.
see, Coretta, paper allocation without access roads, utilities, or certainty are not development. That is basic deception. I hear him boasting about 12 new world class hospitals, yet referrals to the Georgetown Public Hospital continue to rise, placing several strains on that institution. And this is because many of the facilities lack adequate staffing, equipment, and capacity to deliver
Mhm.
even basic health care.
Mhm.
Buildings alone do not save lives, functional healthcare systems do. And I heard him on the security and justice. He claimed that these are rights enjoyed equally by all citizens, supported by a professional police force. Yet Guyana currently has a police commissioner serving long past the retirement age. He's basically expired and he's
Mhm.
blocking advancement, causing
Grandfather,
demoralization of
grandfather commissioner. We got gangster granny, we got gangster grandfather, we got gangster grandfather commissioner.
Coretta, President Ali may speak well on paper and he tries to pronounce big words, oftentimes making lots of mistakes. But leadership is not measured by speeches, it is measured by outcomes, transparency, and respect for democratic institutions. And until the government's words align with the harsh realities facing ordinary Guyanese, and until the National Assembly is treated as the central forum for accountability, these pronouncements will continue to ring hollow across the country.
It is disgusting. Before you got here, we were talking about Ganesh. Would you mind telling our viewers how old you are at this time?
I got too much gray hair. I am proudly 36 years old.
36 years old. So Ganesh, you're saying that you got some of those condos and those apartment buildings too, because I've seen 35-year-olds um barely worked for 4 years or so on, and they got big mansion and three house lots. We were talking about that. Like the topic we're discussing this afternoon is the milk is corruption or corruption is the milk for the PPP. 35-year-old never really work anywhere in their life, but they own all kind of big fancy vehicles, and they got condos, they got apartment buildings, they got three house lots that they could build mansions on. And you're 36 years old, you've been working all your life, and you still can't acquire that. And it leaves one to wonder. And like I said to them, I'm hoping that somebody on the live here is going to share it with them. Tell these people, share the know with some of us. I'd be happy to know, and I'm sure you'd be happy to know.
And Coretta, nowhere in his address did he seek to speak about how he will frontally address corruption. Nowhere in his address, as you see, I was making copious notes about his presentation there, which for me is really budget 2026. He basically read out. I guess Ashni Singh must be very upset because he stole Ashni's thunder. It will be very difficult for Ashti to speak for 5 or 6 hours in the National Assembly at the start of Budget 2026. What Ashni has to simply do is give us the documents, let us see the figures, and we move right into the debates. there will be no need for us to sit for 5 6 hours to listen to him. But outside of that, Irfan really did not speak to how he will tackle corruption, how he will end the friends, families, and favorites syndrome, how he will seek to address this get rich syndrome of his special elite, and how the ordinary, hardworking Guyanese will benefit from the wealth of this country. What I can sense from that speech is that the wealth will get richer and the poor will get poorer. That's all I heard him saying in a nutshell, which is very unfair and unfortunate. You know, I went down in my car and I had this down at the bottom of the seat, and I pulled it out because I was looking at it to see what is it that he made promises with, and how is it that it will, impact on his speech. And majority of what he said and committed to doing in 2025 did not happen. And several of the things he announced at the latter part of his speech was clearly what he took from the APNU's manifesto. We spoke about double cab pickups. We were of the view
Mhm.
that had we gotten into government, we would have had a one flat tax on double cab pickups of 15%. A brand new double cab pickup is $10 million. So that would have meant that 1.5 million alone would have been towards the flat tax, causing
Mhm.
a buyer or a purchaser to just pay $11.5 million in total for that vehicle. He basically looked at that proposal that we had, and what he instead is offering the Guyanese people is a flat tax of $2 million for, I think he categorized the under 2000 cc, and then he said 2000 cc and above a flat tax of 3 million, which is more than what we were proposing, but the same idea and concept. He
Mhm.
also spoke about increasing CSOs, neighborhood police officers, and 10-day workers their money to $50,000 per month. We were going with a higher figure than that because we had minimum wage that we were carrying to, I think it was
Yeah.
$150,000 per person, and they would have fell into that category. Important to note, and people have to understand wording. Wording is very important when a speech is delivered like that. I heard him saying that over the course of the 5 year term, the Because We Care cash grant is going to go to $100,000. That is not what they campaigned on. They
Nope.
campaigned on raising it to $100,000 and plus adding a transportation cost
Yep.
for children of $100,000. And that is not what he spoke of there. And he also said that over the course of the 5 year period, unless I heard incorrectly, that old age pension will move to $60,000 and public assistance to $40,000. I honestly thought that these were measures that could have been done immediately because the fiscal space exists for them to happen. You see, all that he did there, Coretta, was to uh, speak glowingly to please a specific target audience, which is the
As
business
usual.
community, the
As
friends,
usual.
the families, and the people who have already. A government is expected to speak to an audience like the ordinary people we're struggling to make ends meet, and he has not done that. People were really glued to their mobile
I
devices,
know.
their computers, and all other aspects and forms of hearing him, expecting to hear that they're going to have a good Christmas, a bright Christmas. And I think even the business people wanted the cash grant to be announced because they want people
Yes.
to go and shop
Mhm.
at their stores and so on, and it was not announced. So Christmas is not going to be bright for Guyanese, unfortunately. Christmas is not going to be the way we expected it. Irfan Ali is not the Christmas father. Instead, he is the Grinch, and he stole
Yep.
Christmas from the Guyanese people. The sad reality. I guess several Guyanese who voted for him are now upset, and they believe they should have entrusted the APNU. But I say to them, hold the hope and know
Yep.
that 2030 is coming. and we will still be available. We will still be meticulously examining and holding government accountable, and we will be still working in the best interest of the Guyanese people so that we can achieve a better life for all the Guyanese people.
Well, Ganesh, this is nothing strange. This is nothing strange. We saw the PPP government, and we call them all the time copycats. Everything that the PNC would have done over the years, they copied. Everything that the APNU AFC did, they've copied it and they've refashioned it. We saw them talking about house lots and housing projects. This is what they copied from LFS Barnum, who built many, many housing schemes that are still standing to today. We talk about Festival City, Melanie Damashana. We got Roxanne Burnham Gardens. We got East Romfeld, West Romfeld, Northeast Lepenitence, East Lepenitence. All these housing schemes in Region 3, Region 5, all over in Region 6, all over we had housing schemes that are still standing. Now they tell you about housing schemes, and when you go there, you don't have water, you don't have proper roads, you don't got lights, nothing really. But they boast about these housing schemes. The houses, by the time the citizens go into the houses, big cracks on the walls and cupboards falling down and all kind of thing. But this is because these people lack vision. We have seen again them talking when then President Granger spoke about the planting chips industry, and it was a big cuss out, and they talk about us making Guyanese poor, and look what we bringing Guyanese people to, and then shortly after we see them promoting the same thing. Now we're waiting for them to promote the dog food industry. I'm waiting for them to do it.
He spoke about the old economy versus the new economy. But in the old economy, when the APNU was in office, people were not begging for handouts. They were receiving salaries, significant increases, and they were
Mhm,
benefiting financially to live comfortable lives. I remember when we took over in 2015, a sweeper cleaner salary was $35,000 a month, and we raised that to $70,000 a month.
yes.
I remember Granger in his first year, 2015. He took office in May of 2015, and in December there was a Christmas bonus of $50,000 to every public servant, and in addition to the $50,000, there was also, I think it was 10% salary increase. I remember in 2016 it was 25,000 Christmas bonus, and we had significant salary increases also. And these are things that were done in the old economy without oil. We invested in our people by providing monies to them so that they can put food on the tables at their homes. And we don't see that with this new economy. Instead, what we see from this new economy is a quick approach for specific people to get rich from it at the expense of the ordinary people. He spoke about community improvement and infrastructure improvement and about concrete drains and so on. We were saying to him that the time you were spending lots of money to build concrete roads, as narrow as they are, then you should also be making concrete paves so that people can walk
Hmm.
comfortably on these concrete paves. Now you have these narrow roads done with concrete and people can't even walk on them. And now you're
That's
talking about concrete drains and paves. So you're going to break up again these roads that exist. So it's a waste of money. There was no planning. There is no planning in the way the PPP is executing their mandate. They are clearly moving in a direction to just spend wastefully, no plan of action, no manner in which they are conducting these kind of studies for us to have benefits for our people, and it is very, very sad. Another thing he spoke about is 60,000 new jobs were created, and I asked the question, where is the
right.
60,000 jobs? If you're talking about these 10-day workers, that is not permanent job that is giving people an income that can really cause them to survive. That is more of a temporary nature that people utilize to put additional resources on their table. And we did not hear about upskilling these 10-day workers so that they can enter into the sphere of permanent work and improving their lives. Guyanese, I think, are very sad after that address. I think the 2.5 hours people have wasted behind hearing Irfan speak, and nothing of significant substance that can impact their lives. Some basic things were announced, which is nothing new. It's not like if he has not said these things before. He repeated himself over and over. I think he used the
Usual.
term one Guyana just once in that 2.5 hour um, speech. He used the term one Guyana just once. I actually, when I heard it, I immediately wrote it down. And if you see, I wrote down there, I said one Guyana, one time, meaning that it's just one time he said it in that 2.5 hours. And I think it was a sad speech. I think it was a terrible presentation for a president that has returned for his second term in an economy that is booming, in an economy that is with strong sustainability and fiscal space. I think it's a speech that could have been done way better. He spoke about moving to e-procurement, but e-procurement was on the table since 2022 and was supposed to be delivered to the Guyanese in 2024 and was not delivered. So another lie, so to speak. He spoke about a junior stock exchange. The APNU talked about a junior stock exchange in their manifesto. So clearly, he took a peep at our manifesto and he tried to mimic by way of catering to implement what we had promised the people. But
As usual.
in doing so, he made changes that really and truly did not seek to bring the total level of benefits the APNU really wanted for the people of Guyana. He spoke a lot about artificial intelligence. I think about 70% of his speech focused on artificial intelligence and how he will use AI to improve the systems and so on. But you have not heard about artificial intelligence being used by way, or I should say, the digital platform being used to improve our electoral process to guarantee us free, fair, and credible elections. He did not talk about biometrics that is so essential for credible elections, and these are things that are very, very much needed. But above all, the most important thing for me was the disrespect to the elected officials of this country, the disrespect to the National Assembly. You have a
Mhm.
president, first time in the history, I would say,
Mhm.
where he's making an address to the nation outside of the
Outside
halls
of.
of the
Yep.
National Assembly, not
Mhm.
calling the National Assembly and not having what he has said being recorded in the Hansard of the National Assembly. I think it's a disrespect to the National Assembly. It's a
Yep.
breakdown of the guardrails of our democracy, and it is a sense of us recognizing that this will be a one-party state rule, which we should not tolerate, and the Guyanese people should speak up and speak out. Because if we sit and allow that to happen, and if we sit and allow that to take precedence and to make way in which it's happening, it's a total disrespect to the Guyanese people.
Ganesh, while you were talking there about what he did and what he did and what he announced, all now our people are crying, Winston Jordan, where are you? Where are you, Winston? Because Ganesh, you did not remember to say that Winston Jordan gave us tax-free monies increases,
Yeah, all
tax-free
were increased were
increases,
tax free.
you know,
All were tax
tax-free.
free.
And we have to remind our people that you had the golden opportunity to do what was right. But the time is coming again. The time is soon coming when we are going to urge you to make that choice. Don't be carried away with the cook up rice. Don't be carried away with these fancy speeches because you can't carry fancy speeches to the shop. You can't carry fancy speeches to the bank. You cannot carry fancy speeches to the supermarkets. You've got to go there with the real deal, the money. Irfan Ali had a talk. We were saying you can take that to the bank. I wonder if we could carry this speech to the bank. I saw some people putting their Irfan Ali made a long, useless speech. The speech longer than the ones that I got at my wedding. And I'm seeing Guyanese here are making all sorts of comments, and they're absolutely right, absolutely right. But again, Ganesh, I know we're taking up some of Sherrod's time, but again, the corruption in this country. Ganesh, you know that we've been faced with a battle in Parliament where the word corruption is banned, and I'm sure you can agree with our viewers, and you can tell our viewers why you think they don't want us to use the word corruption.
Well, of course, the real reason is because they don't want us to expose them in the house. They don't want us to expose their corrupt practices and how people are seeing how they're being catapulted into various offices, demanding bribery and the likes and so on, and enriching themselves. But I did say in a nutshell just now what I think Irfan's speech was all about, and I would like to also term it a different way again. It is really to show a comparison between government's rhetoric versus the lived reality. The lived reality is so much different than government's rhetoric. The lived reality is so much the opposite to what Irfan preaches. And it is a sad, sad situation for Guyana. I'm very sorry that Christmas is going to be gloomy, Coretta. I'm very sorry. I thought I was going to be able to invite you over for black cake and coke, but unfortunately I cannot because I don't have the cash grant to go and bake the cake.
My Ganesh, look, I go put myself in a whole lot of expense. It's trust I trust this suit, pay later. Look at my dress. I dress up to and put myself in front of the television screen to listen to this man. And when they after the first like 10 minutes or so, or not even so long, I realize this ain't making no sense. No sense whatsoever. But I've seen the commissioner of police, the squatting commissioner of police talking about 2026 is going to be a year of accountability and reform for the police, for the Guyana police force. How could this be a year of reform and accountability when you yourself is there illegally? How you could reform it?
He has to go. He is expired, overused, and of no effect. He really has to go. He is contributing to the demoralization of the police force. Young officers who aspire to reach to the high office is being blocked. Every single day that passes is shortchanging another officer from taking that seat and is disturbing the upward mobility of other police officers because he's occupying a space that he has outlived. He's occupying a space that he's expired for, and he's occupying a space where his old thinking is not bringing the necessary innovation and the necessary technological changes to adapt to our Guyana police force. Clifton Hicken is a waste of precious time and precious resources that belong to our dear country.
And I noticed too that the president is now articulating that our policemen will have to have math and English to join the police force. Well, I don't know if you're saying math and English plus two others, or math and English plus three others, or you just want math and English. I don't know what he's really saying, but that isn't going to change the culture of the Guyana police force unless we have those at the top coming straight. That isn't going to change the whole look of the Guyana police force, because we've seen from the level of the top corruption. Irfan himself had 19 fraud charges. Irfan, when he was Minister of Housing, there were several accusations that were made against him, and now Irfan is president. So how can we have change? As president, we have seen so many allegations being leveled at him. So I don't know how you can effect change.
Correct. It's a sad reality. It's really, really a sad reality. I mean, as funny as listening to him for 2.5 hours was, it is 2.5 hours I'll never get back in my life. And I could have really done with utilizing those 2.5 hours to appear on your program earlier. But I really and truly thought that he would have made something of substance to give the Guyanese people, and I would have been on your program, probably giving him some degree of congratulation. But I cannot. I cannot in no way, shape, or form congratulate him for that speech because it was a speech that was no good at all. And I know you said that we're utilizing another program's time and several other programs to want me to appear, but I can't do that right now, save and except to say to you that this speech was sad. It was a sad speech.
And you know, I'm seeing persons are saying wickedness in high places, God not sleep. I mean, persons were there glued from yesterday. Persons were setting up, persons ensure that they charge their phones so just in case GPL comes with a power outage. I mean, again, I'm saying GPL should just cut off the light
But
because we're making sense.
he
And
didn't
and
even speak to that. He didn't even speak to how he's going to address GPL. And they made a commitment that GPL needs new management. They made a commitment that GPL needs to have better managers. All he spoke about in terms of GPL is the addition to the grid in terms of the power that will be added to the grid to ease the burden, hopefully, of and to satisfy the demand. But at the end of the day, he did not speak to the management of GPL. And they outlined that GPL has bad management, but never addressed it. I mean, the campaign, what Irfan's speech really did also, Coretta, was to show us that campaigning, they're going to talk lies, and the reality of what you'll get when they
Mhm,
go there is totally different. And that is
mhm,
what they created. They're creating this atmosphere where people will have no trust in political leaders, in politicians. I want to assure your viewers that we were committed to delivering all that we promised. And when we get into office, we will deliver whatever we promised. We are not going to be allowed, or I'm going to ask the people not to judge us based on Irfan's performance. We are different. The APNU is different. Do not judge us on the PPP's performance, and do not judge us on Irfan's rhetoric. You have confidently concluded that Irfan is a liar. You have confidently concluded that the
mhm,
People's Progressive Party is full of liars.
mhm,
I can
mhm,
assure you, we in the APNU, the current crop of leaders, the young dynamic leaders of the APNU, we want a better Guyana for all Guyanese. We want a better Guyana for the young generation and the future. We want a Guyana that is stable and that can survive through sustainability. And we will only get that once we have trusted leaders. You have concluded, your viewers have concluded the PPP is not to be trusted. But I'm asking them not to label us with that same cloth. It is a sad reality that the PPP has deceived us, but we are here and we will rescue this country when the time comes, when the people entrust us with that vote.
but I have to go, I have to return to what we've been saying. For Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. And we will continue to say that because we have seen over the years the destruction that would have been meted out to this country, all because of the PPP. Now, while Airfront, you know, they love to distract your attention. And so while Airfront was there doing all kinds of things, the people on the east bank of Essequibo, they were distracted with a fire at a supermarket there. So a whole supermarket gone up in fire, and the people are distracted. And I mean, with people running out there and not paying attention to him, they had all rights because it's what they would have been listening to madness. Absolute nonsense. But Ganesh, why we want to wrap up, we have to touch a little on what's happening with the local government ministries. Ministry, we have seen prayer jumping out there, block off the Stabrook market, block the people from Vridenup from selling, block some other vendors from selling. And then when they do these things, then they turn around now as if they're angels. And then they come to say, oh, we didn't say you must do this, but we say you could, and we're going to give you some time frame. But when you give them the time frame to remove, where are you putting them? How are they going to live?
You see, the actions of the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development over the past month or so, more specifically Priya Manikchan, was geared towards hurting the poor. It was geared towards hurting the ordinary citizens who ply their trade in these commercial areas, hoping to have a good Christmas. And it is most unfortunate. I have said that the APNU is not against developmental projects. We are not against beautification projects, but it must be done
Never.
in a manner where it does not disrupt completely the earning powers of the ordinary people. These are not people who have long and hefty bank accounts. that they can tap into if they're being disturbed for a week or two. These are people who live from paycheck to paycheck. They live from their earnings that they earn one day to survive the other day. And that is why timeliness and the manner of execution are important in executing the ministry's agenda. The beautification at Stabrook Market, a good initiative, but implemented the wrong time. Christmas time is when people are looking to make a dollar. Christmas time is when people are looking to sell the most so that they can survive. And here Priya came, and she would not be bothered by it because she is living a comfortable life, receiving a fat
Yep.
cat salary. Like
Mhm.
all the other ministers, they are receiving their fat cat salary, they are receiving their increases, and they're receiving their prags and their benefits, and because they're living a fat cat life, they don't understand what the skinny cats are going through. They don't
That's true.
understand what the outside cats that are hunting and searching for betterment are going through because they're comfortable in their mansions as fat cats.
It is disgusting. And while we're talking about these fat cats, it's plenty fat cats we got because we got the fire chief who's 58 years old, and it seems as if he ain't going anywhere either. So maybe this is a club thing they got now, old boys club. Hickens so, fire chief so, who else we got wherever? I mean, come on, y'all go bow out gracefully and give way to younger people so we can have better management in the system. Look how many people y'all frustrating. Come on, go.
Thousands of people are being frustrated.
And no wonder sometimes things happen and you don't get the kind of reaction you want because when persons are frustrated, they will no longer give of their best. And maybe that's why when we got all these fires in different places, and I'm just suggesting this, that you don't get the kind of quick response you want from the servicemen there because I hear and I struggle in my time come for me to get promotion, but I can't be promoted because somebody else occupying the seats. Look, you see, all some of these grandfathers that we got there who feel that you got an entitlement. Look, don't let we gotta bring some rocking chairs and put them in front of your offices. Y'all bow out gracefully and go. Bow out and go. Mr. Fire Chief, thank you so much for your service. You were dedicated and committed. Thank you so much for your service, but bow out and go now. Go. You go, then Hickens gonna follow you. Or Hickens, you go first and let him follow you, and all the others, y'all go. 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 And you notice what's happening? We are creating, we have this contract appointment where we are bringing all of these people who, quite a lot of them who would have retired, we bring them back and we give them contracted positions. um I know in the, we got to talk about, while we're talking about Ministry of Local Government, we're going to touch on education too while we're talking about them, because we got to talk about Bamia Primary School, Ganesh. Bamia Primary School, up to now, it can't be handed over. Priya came out there, she jump out early morning, and the contractors will go. I give you up to October. Which one of the October? Next
Well,
year?
I've always held the view that Sonia is useless. I don't know why Sonia was pushed to education.
It's a
It
favorite
was
girl, I learned.
it was an exchange prior to local government, Sonia to education, and I have always concluded that Sonia is useless. I haven't changed from that position. She hasn't given me any reason to change from that position, and I saw also
Ganesh,
that
Ganesh,
she
Ganesh, let me cut you. Ganesh, let me cut you. Don't do that. Sonia has pledged to try her utmost best to ensure that she does everything well. Don't go there, Ganesh.
I saw her. She came out in a press release, I think it was, attacking teachers at Christmas party with children gyrating and dancing in very wrong manner, of course, because we expect our children not to be, in that kind of
Mhm,
fashion.
mhm,
But that
mhm.
is nothing new to young people and their behavior. It's not something that should happen. But I remember when I was going to school, these things happen. It's just that social media is so prevalent now that bringing it out to the fore is far way easier because of technology. But you can't be harassing, abusing, and basically You've tried to chide the teachers as though the teachers don't do enough. Teachers are doing way beyond the call of duty. Teachers are fighting to get a better education system in a society that is still grappling with
Yep.
technological advancement. Teachers are trying to cope with children from various different backgrounds, social norms, and different community upbringing. Teachers are really and truly our heroes, and you don't attack your teachers without understanding what is before them. And the same way I will honor teachers and speak greatly of teachers, I will do the same for police officers. The ordinary blue and black and white that are lining the public road, trying to ease traffic and, trying to direct traffic and so on. These are men and women in uniform really working for this, for the stabilization of our country. On the roadways, you look at the Guyana Defense Force and our soldiers, what they are battling with at our borders, given what is before us with Venezuela. These are people that we're supposed to be honoring, praising, and giving
But we
benefits so
don't.
that they can live comfortably. Not just the business community. We don't just have to put money into the business community. We have to also give to our ordinary people. Our government is not supposed to be business like, to want to make profit on this and profit on that. I heard Irfan talking about the zoo and us having a state of the art zoo. Well, $2 billion was already budgeted in 2025, and I didn't see much improvement as yet. I have to find out how much money was actually used. But Coretta, put it in a nutshell, we're in a bad state as a country, the fastest growing economy and oil producing nation. We're supposed to have a stable economy. We have everything great on paper. Everything in Guyana is great on paper, but the lived reality, what the ordinary, the hardworking, the tax-paying Guyanese, what they're experiencing is the complete opposite to what is printed on paper and read by Irfan Ali.
Ganesh, we when we hear Earphone speak, you would believe as if in Guyana they ain't got no flies, they ain't got no bugs, they ain't got blackbirds, they ain't got rats, they ain't got yarri, they ain't got nothing. Everything is just perfect. But when you get into the
Political
system,
distraction, political distraction.
thank you.
It is
But when
all
you
political distraction to take away from the real lived reality. The lived reality. The political distraction is there to take away from that. And he doesn't want to talk about the hardship of various people and the water that is coming, like if it is a Mobby. He doesn't want to talk about the people who have to walk long distances to get basic services. He doesn't want to talk about people crying out for assistance in this heavy cost of living Guyana. He only wants to paint everything as good on paper, trying to impress probably the world, but the lived reality in Guyana is totally different from whatever he has said.
and it is disgusting. I mean, we did not have enough time, or we don't have enough time to talk about the meals that are granted to our children. But at some point, operator, if you could put up this shoot up this picture for us, at some point our people are going to be in this very state here. We're going to see the picture that the operator is going to put up. Our children, our people are going to be in a worse state than this if we don't put the hammer on these people. Our children are going to end up right here. Our senior citizens are going to end up right here. And we don't want to get there. And so, viewers, we got to start from now.
The ball is in the people's hand, right? The ball is in the people's hand.
We will get to this state. This is the state that we will get to if we don't drop the hammer. We got to do it. We can't allow ourselves to get there. And this is so disgusting. And this is where Airfront they want us to go. Right there, they want us to go. We're not going to get to this state. Guyana, as we know it, has been a land of many waters. We have been termed then the breadbasket of the Caribbean, and we will continue to be there as the breadbasket of the Caribbean. We will continue to be able to feed our people. We got too many resources here. and our people will not get there. But Ganesh, we didn't get a chance, like I was saying, to talk about the the kind of meals that our children are receiving at schools as breakfast and all kind of thing. But I'm hoping that at some point we'll be able to talk about it. But we have to be able to get worth for monies. We have to be able to get that. We cannot continue to live this way. But viewers, when we're having these kinds of conversations is when our time would really, really creep up on us. And I know Sherrod is waiting there to come on, and we don't want to take up more of his time. But I want to leave you with this thought that says God will provide. God will provide. I'm not sure. Maybe power outage at Ganesh's end, so Ganesh is not here with us. But Ganesh, we want to thank you for popping in. We know that you had extra duties to do, which should have been ended long before, because that speech, address, whatever you want to call it, waywardness, useless speech, waste man coming to talk, it should have been at 5 o'clock. But of course, he has no respect for Guyanese people, so it came 1 hour after. But we want to thank you, viewers, for being here with us. Without you, we would have no advance in the cause. And we share with you every time and all the time what continue to happen in this country and what we should be doing. Operator, I think we have a last video for you to show, so that you will see the state of what happens here with our people. There's the one there. Let me see if I could get that one to you. I just sent it there to you. This one there. If you can play that one, so you see what is happening here. We've had 5 army officers killed. To date, we can't hear anything about that report. We don't know what caused the crash. According to Barrett Jagdio, the black box got damaged. I showed you a couple of weeks ago an airplane that crashed into a river, and they were able to find that black box. I think it caught fire, then it went in the middle of a river while they were flying over an ocean. But so that right there is one Guyana for you, and we await the findings of the findings of that case. We wait to see what will happen there. But that is one Guyana for you, and those are the things that the Minister of Home Affairs should be talking about. All these people who get in gun licenses left, right, and centers, against talking about those drivers who are receiving license and they should surrender them. The president should call for an amnesty for all of those people who got their license, their firearm license, and they did not go through the correct procedure. So, Air Finale, something for you to think about. And here again, another life has been lost. I wanted to share with you some clippings of the NYPD officers who have been coming to Guyana and observing the death anniversary of one of their fallen colleague, who is a Guyanese. Every year they would come there to pay their respects. When our servicemen die here after that 21 gun shoot off, that's the end of it. That's the end of for you and their families, and the government don't have any more time with them. But again, we will have to correct that. Viewers, thank you for being here with us. Be good Guyanese citizens. We love you. We are people centered. We're going to make a better life for you, but you have to do the correct thing. Sad, no cash grants this year because you've been naughty. That's all that we have now on Advancing the Cause for tonight. Stay well. We see you again next Wednesday. God bless you.